Okay. All right, I am ready. Are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. You count it down because it's all you.
All right. We're going to go in 3.
Totally ready.
2. 1. This week, can Kevin Smith grab a piece of late night? Comcast is letting you take your DVR with you on the go. And will Hitbliss be your oasis to see the stuff you want without paying? All that and a whole lot more. This is That TV Show episode 312.
You're listening to the podcast for TV geeks everywhere. You're listening to That TV Show with Pat Crane and Jules Scott.
That's me. I am being very well entertained by my lovely and talented co-host, Pat Crane, as he slowly falls backwards up against his microphone.
I have no idea what you're talking about whatsoever.
For some reason, we found that goofing around on the video tonight was fun. You know, after how many episodes that we've done this show, we finally decided that goofing around on the TV.
I've always done it. I don't know what you're talking about. I've always done it.
You're supposed to play along.
Okay.
You're supposed to play along.
Oh, right. Well, if you guys aren't watching the video show, you might as well watch the video show.
That's
Do
right.
It's
pretty entertaining to watch him try to fall backwards with a microphone stand.
Yes. Yes, I do it all the time. Hi, Jules.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I will warn you ahead of time. I may be distracted by a very cute and very sweet new cat that's in my room.
That's right. You got a new cat. Tell us about your cat.
He is a snowshoe Siamese boy named Garrus. Named him after the Mass Effect character.
Oh.
He's very sweet. He's about 2 years old. And but he's in this room with me because he has a cold. So he has to be isolated in a room away from my other cats. So
Right.
it happens to be this room where I podcast in, which is our spare bedroom. So if he pops up on there on the screen or something, he's just wants to say hi to
You totally disillusioned the entire audience. We thought that you were in a private voice studio with like pads, like the sound foam around you and
Yes. Well, there
all
is
that
sound
kind of
foam
stuff.
around me.
Yeah, it's just we can't see it on the camera.
I know. Well, it's not like your space, which is this little amazing little space of foam and devices and very warm lights.
Yes, I am in a padded room. That is probably the proper spot for me. That's true.
Yeah.
All right. So what's been going on with you this week other than the new cat? What's going on with your TV stuff?
I gotta say, because it's been so busy working with all of this, I haven't gotten a chance to watch a ton of TV, but we did get a chance to watch a couple of episodes of the new series Cosmos.
Oh, lovely. How is the new series Cosmos?
It is very interesting. And I know that there's been a lot of debate about how they're handling some of it and how they're doing it. A lot of times there have been some criticism from people about the animation or the use of animation to demonstrate some of the things that aren't available on camera when you're talking about ancient history.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it's been really well done. It's been well explained. And then you watch this and you just get completely sucked in, like completely sucked in. And
That's
it's
good.
just, I remember, we talked about this before about those times where you used to sit and watch like Nova and the animal shows on
Totally.
PBS and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Totally has that same flavor.
Oh, good.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Yeah. So I totally recommend it. I think it's great. Yeah. So I would say go for it.
That's the best flavor out of all TV is like stuff that is so absorbing. It's informational, and yet they do it in such a cool way that it just, you're just wrapped in it. You're just, it's a show you feel the love every time that you're there, and it's like a warm blanket that you surround yourself with. It's amazing.
That's a really cool way to explain it.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's what all those shows were for me. It was just this warm blanket that I would just put on, and I would be like, yeah, you know what? I'm good for like an hour.
Yes.
For like an hour, I'm awesome. I'm amazing.
Yes, and you're learning, but you don't feel like you're being forced to learn.
Right. You want to learn. You want to know more. That's always good.
Agreed. So that's about all I've had time for this week. but I am curious to see what you have on this list.
Well, I have a couple of things that are new that I've watched this week, and one is Caprica.
Oh gosh, this has been on my list because I watched all of BSG.
Yeah, and I watched the pilot, the first half of the pilot, I guess.
Okay.
Pilot 1 of Caprica, part of a 2-parter, and it was very interesting. It was very absorbing. It was it was definitely something that I am interested in seeing more of. So I will let you know exactly what's going on with that probably a little bit later.
Cool.
But there's something else that's more pressing this week.
What's that? What?
And that's Himium. And if you don't know what Himium is, it's How I Met Your Mother.
Oh, yes.
Your
Yes,
mother.
yes, yes.
Or another way to say it is your mother. That's the shorthand, right? In
Yes.
in New Yorkese, your mother.
Mother.
But How I Met Your Mother, final episode of the series was this week.
Oh, and it was last night.
I know.
Last night.
And I'm going to spoil it for everybody. If you have not seen How I Met Your Mother series finale, go see it and then come back and then we can discuss it a little bit. But I'm going to talk about this tonight. And I know that this is not your series. You know a little bit about what's going on though, right?
I know enough to be dangerous.
Ooh. Ooh. So this How I Met Your Mother was very different from the other ones because, well, it wasn't extremely different, I guess. Same cast of characters, essentially.
Right.
But they skipped around a lot. And they went from this year to this year to this year to this year to kind of show the growth of this friendship between these 5 people.
Yep.
Between all the guys of the cast, the original 5.
Right.
And it was pretty interesting. Of course, this entire season has been all about Robin and Barney's wedding.
Right.
And like I said, there are going to be spoilers here. So please be ready for them because I'm going to discuss them all.
Yes, go for it.
Okay, so Robin and Barney get married.
Yes.
Not really a spoiler.
No.
And then I'm going to go kind of down the timeline a little bit. But they do not stay together, as it turns out.
Oh.
Yeah. They do not stay together. Barney and Robin get divorced a few years later.
Hmm?
That's surprise number 1. I mean, maybe not really a surprise. That's not really a huge surprise. Barney's kind of a ladies' man. Even though Neil Patrick Harris, not so much.
No, not so much.
But Barney is.
Okay.
And Robin is going all over the world with her news stuff, and they can't keep it together.
Right.
For whatever reason. And I'm kind of curious, though. What do you know, Jules? What did you hear about this show?
Okay. Well, again, spoilers.
Yeah.
But the last season or the last so this season was all 20 whatever episodes of what it was the whole
weekend,
time spent of the weekend of Barney and Robin's wedding.
Yeah.
And so they filled this entire season from everyone meeting the mother in different perspectives before Ted met the mother.
Yep.
So that's how I heard it. And then that the mother was revealed at the end of last season, so you knew who she was, but you never knew her name.
Right.
And there was a teaser in the most recent episodes to say that the mother did not survive after the children were born, or that she died at some point, and that this whole thing was Ted as an adult with his grown kids or his almost grown kids telling them how he met their now deceased mother.
You are absolutely correct, which is pretty unusual, you know? And so really what it's all about these 5 friends and about how they have kind of gone through everything. And remember, this is all kind of wrapped in a story about how he tells his kids about about how he met his mother, but it's not really about the mother. It never has been about the mother.
Right.
And this is kind of a little bit of a switch because we thought it was all leading up to this moment. And we were like, okay, this kind of makes sense. And there are all these cool, quirky signs about why these two should be together forever and why it should be a love through time.
Right.
And we get there. And yeah, I mean, it was love at first sight and a long-lasting love. And it was really, really cool. And it lasted for years and years and years. And by years and years and years, I mean sometime after 7 years, she got sick and she didn't make it.
Right.
So, and the kids are hearing this story, I think 5 years after her death.
Right.
5 or 6. And it's kind of emotional. It's kind of weird because it's a very what could be emotional scene.
Right.
But they don't play it emotionally because it's been a long time, right?
Mm-hmm.
For those characters, it's been 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
And so,
you just realized that this has happened.
right. I told my wife that it happened, and I said, "Oh, she didn't make it." And my wife goes, "What?" It was kind of subtle.
Yeah.
It was a little subtle, telling us that she got sick and died.
Right.
They never actually said she died. They said she got sick.
Right. But she wasn't there anymore.
Right. So, it was just kind of this weird little thing. And the way that they twisted it was that Ted and Robin were always kind of meant to be together.
Yep. Since the beginning, which is the episodes that I saw where he fell in love with Robin.
Right.
And she didn't want to date him because she wasn't ready for it.
Right. So in a very say anything moment, and if you know the movie Say Anything,
Yes.
who doesn't, right? Ted goes, the very end of the show is Ted holding the blue French horn from before when they stole it from a restaurant
Yep.
outside Robin's window. That's
how it ends.
And that's pretty much how it ends.
Aww.
And I thought that was very sweet. Now, I know that a lot of people don't like this. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, this cannot be the end of the series. And they're like, really? Come on. I can't believe it. This is hopeful. This is a very hopeful situation. And yeah, maybe they did kind of do a couple of tricks here and there to kind of pull you in emotionally and then, reject it at the end, or it seems rejected. But I kind of want to stack this up against some other series finales.
Mm-hmm.
Now, of course, you can go all the way back. One of the more memorable ones, I think one of the first memorable series finales was MASH.
Yes.
Where you have the goodbye spelled out in rocks as Alan Alda and B.J. Honeycutt. Of course, I'm saying actors and characters, like they're pretty much the same thing.
Yeah,
sure,
exactly.
Why not? No, Hawkeye and BJ, well, as they part ways.
Right.
And then, man, I'm trying to think of some other good series finale. Oh, Jerry Seinfeld, where they're all in jail. Seinfeld. What? Really?
Yeah.
No. I thought that this was nice. It showed the future of what was to come, and it showed this hopeful ending and kind of almost a new beginning.
Yeah.
So I was okay with it. With it.
And from what I had heard too, is that the kids were all for this to happen. That they were
totally.
pulling for their dad to do this, to be with her. And so I've really only seen the first 4 episodes of How I Met Your Mother, which is you establish the situation where Ted falls for Robin and they have this amazing date and he takes the blue French horn as part of the remembrance to bring her, and it just doesn't work out for them. and then it comes full circle. It's like I've seen the whole series already.
Right.
It's just like it just brought it there.
Well,
Again.
and it's kind of cool. And then at the very end, they played out. They did the cast of characters again. I mean, they kind of put up a little still shot of them from the very first episode, I think.
Yep.
And it was pretty amazing. Like Jason Segel, he looked really young in there, and Neil Patrick Harris looked really young in there.
Yep.
So it was really cool to kind of wrap that up, and I was cool with the way that they did it, with the way that they ended it, and they kind of brought all of the stories together.
Yep.
In such a way that was manageable, and yet, I mean, it was kind of sad. Like every time they were together, it was like super special, and so it was very I'm trying to think of the right words, and I'm not going to come up with them. But it was a very touching episode.
Well, I think you also felt the finality of this group of 5 friends, all actors and characters.
You're correct.
And knowing that they're never going to be together like this again, and that really strong sense of, wow, this is done.
Yes.
And I remember feeling that, like watching the finale of Friends. I watched Friends for pretty much this entire run, and then you see the very last one and you're like, things will never be the same again.
Right.
And everything stops and moves on. But at the same time, you're just like that nostalgia where you're just like, oh my gosh, don't make it stop. Just don't go.
Apparently, I'm making people cry in the chat room, and that is not my intention, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't mean
like
to do
baby.
that. I am a very sensitive guy.
He is actually. Yep. He's not joking. It's not April Fool's Day.
No, it is not. Well, it is April Fool's Day, but it's not. We're not joking on this show. This is all real. But I am a very sensitive guy, and so when I see stuff like this, it does touch me emotionally.
Not in the funny places.
Well, and sometimes the funny places, but in this case, it was all the emotional stuff. And so it was very cool. I liked it. Seinfeld, what? I didn't get that one. Cheers. That was I think that was okay, as I recall. Yeah. That one was all right. MASH. Oh God, I cried. Ugh. Of course, I was a little tiny kid then, but
yeah.
I still cried.
I cried at the end of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I cried at the end of Lost.
Lost confused me before I even started watching it, which was fun. So funny. Yeah, I mean, and I thought it was a good show. Anyway, so what I really want to get to though is afterwards. Afterwards, they went on the Actors Studio.
Oh yes.
The entire cast, all 5 of them, went on to the Actors Studio, and they did kind of this. Were open to a bunch of different questions from the audience, all actors, of course, right. And it was really, really cool. The way that they went out on the show was that somebody from the audience asked Neil Patrick Harris and Jason Segel whether or not they sang Les Mis at all. Or maybe it was to revive their Les Mis stuff that they had done earlier.
Okay.
And it was the Confrontation song from Les Mis that they did, NPH, Jason Segel, and it was really, really super special.
Aww.
And if you guys have the internet, which I'm assuming you do because you're listening to this show, just look up Neil Patrick Harris, Jason Segel, Confrontation, or Les Mis, or whatever. Search under videos, find it, because this is amazing stuff, and it's really cool and super special, and the entire audience just went nuts. It was sweet.
So very
awesome.
Cool. It's
awesome.
so cool.
It's awesome. They do the entire song, and just the audience erupts at the end. So.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that was this week in TV, I guess, for me.
That's okay. We had a lot to talk about there.
There was a lot going on. All right. Well, let's continue by going to the Hollywood Rewind. All right. It's time to see a big... It's just it was too much, I guess, or something. I don't know. All right, it's time to take a peek behind the curtain. What's been happening this week in Hollywood? And Jules, please talk.
Please take this from you. Well, if you are a Netflix subscriber, on Thursday, April 3rd, which is this week, there is a new series that's debuting at midnight on Thursday. It's called Short Poppies. And it is it's like a mockumentary style show where I don't even know who this person is. I read about this and I was still confused, but it's called there's a real life reporter named David Ferrier. He goes around and he interviews people in New Zealand. It's a mockumentary, so they're not real people, that they're playing a character, so they're making this up, but it's like every person that they meet is weirder than the next. And so it's this kind of like, it's a mockumentary style. I'm not sure about this at all, but if you're into that kind of thing, again, it's called Short Poppies, and it's on Netflix.
And it also has dude from the Flight of the Conchords, Murray.
Is that who that is?
Yeah, Murray Hewitt is Riz Darby.
Okay.
And he was also in like Jim Carrey's Yes. And he was in, he was in How I Met Your Mother, actually.
Was he really?
Yeah. And what else was he in? I don't even know. But he's kind of been all over the place. And I think you'll recognize him when you see it.
Yeah, and so who knows? We may even check this out for this show at some point. So
maybe.
So that's something to check out for a new series on Netflix.
Okay.
And then on Sunday, April 6th, on HBO, the return of Game of Thrones.
Yes, and I've been seeing Peter Dinklage all over the place. He was on The Daily Show last night, and he was fantastic.
He is so flippin' good on everything he does. And this show, good. He's one of my favorite characters. But I am so excited that Game of Thrones is coming back. I've been waiting for so long, and I'm a huge fan. So, yay!
Well, after I move, I plan on watching season 1 of Game of Thrones.
Oh my gosh. I would we need to have you watch it, and then we can do a live stream discussion.
I have the series. So I have the series. I just don't have the time right now.
Good, Matt.
Oh,
so good. So I'm super excited. So Game of Thrones, if you're a fan, make sure you watch it on Sunday.
Right.
So talking a little bit about what's been announced this week too. Kevin Smith, he's done a lot.
He does a lot. He likes to talk. I don't know if you know this. Anytime that I have ever seen him, he talks way more than I ever could in an allotted time period. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
If you give him an hour, he will take the entire hour, and he will he used to do these, and I think he still does. He still does these little stage shows where he goes and answers questions from the audience.
Yep.
In a 2-hour performance, he answers maybe 3 questions.
Yeah, because he just spends the rest of the time talking.
Maybe 3 questions. He always has stories. He's a great storyteller.
Absolutely.
Anyway,
and
continue.
I had to stop following him on Twitter just because of I couldn't get through anything else because he's so prolific on everything he does. I don't know how the man has the time.
Really
but so he is now actually going to be possibly hosting a late night talk show called Hollywood Babble On. Not Babylon, but Babble On.
Right.
It would be starring him and the co-host of his podcast, also Ralph Garman.
Right.
So AMC is really kind of tapping into the Kevin Smith machine because he is also doing their docuseries Comic Book Men on that channel. It's going to be for the 4th season now.
Right. And he still has not changed his jersey at all.
No, he has not.
It's a very dirty jersey. Either that or he has a lot of them.
So, yeah, if you're interested in hearing Kevin Smith talk, you most certainly would be able to do that on AMC.
Right. And he does a series, I think, on his Smodcast. That's what he calls his podcast that he does. He calls them Smodcasts. For Smith podcast, Smodcast. That's what it is. All right. So he does. I think he does a series, or maybe it's a live event called Babylon. Either way.
Yeah.
So
he's got so much going on in his world.
He really does. And so this is a great way to just take what he's already doing and make it public, make it fun, make it accessible for everybody, because everybody wants to see this stuff because he is a very interesting person.
He really is.
And I can't escape his stories. I try. But I think I watched Too Fat to Fly. It was his 40th birthday celebration or something like that. And he just told these stories. And I was just like, okay, I am in. How long is this? It's like 3 hours? Okay, great. Here's what I need. I need like Chinese takeout and no friends. Perfect. Perfect. I got this. So
you better write that down as a show title. Chinese food and no friends.
Yeah, exactly.
Chinese takeout, no friends.
Right.
So yeah, Kevin Smith. Yeah, see more of him if you want to. He's most likely coming to. They haven't said a date. It's just in plans in the works. But you can still watch him on Comic Book Men because it is coming back for a 4th season.
Awesome.
And some news that broke this week too on The Voice. As we had mentioned a while ago, I believe, CeeLo announced that he was going to be leaving The Voice after this season.
Right.
And the announcement came through this week, actually yesterday, that the new judge of The Voice for season 7 will be Pharrell Williams. Because he's happy.
Not Will Ferrell.
Not
Pharrell Williams. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Different guy.
Yeah.
Not the same.
So, like, Pharrell Williams is, like, everywhere and on everything lately. Yeah. I am totally not surprised by this.
No. He was on as a mentor or something like that, right? He was on as one of the coaches. Well, he was on with one of the coaches.
Yes, he was a mentor with
Usher, right?
In the battle rounds, they got a mentor with the coach. And so I think he did that with Usher. And he is good, like, very, very good as a mentor.
He's a producer. I mean, of course he's good. Come on.
Of course. So, yeah.
He's used to this stuff. It's totally cool.
He and his Arby's hat,
But he's the only one that's been confirmed for the 7th cycle, right? So.
Well, it seems that it's going to be, they're not saying who's going to be back in completely, but of course, Adam and Blake haven't moved. It's just between Shakira and Usher, and whether Christina, it's going to be like Christina and Pharrell, and then Shakira and Usher on that cycle or not. They still haven't decided how
that could be cool.
Yeah.
I'm fine with any of that stuff. They could do whatever the hell they want to because I like that show.
Oh, it's great.
I like that show because we get to know the judges a lot better and we get to know this talent a lot better.
Yes.
And it is a lot better than American Idol.
Agree 100% because they actually are working as artists. Right. To develop an artist as a style and to help them figure themselves out. And, what's nice is that this coach, this coach that helps them as part of the team is teaching them from their own experience what it's like to get into the industry.
Exactly. I mean,
that's so good.
That is what it should be all about. And I'm glad that they have brought it to that level. And American Idol, while they try to kind of approach that, they fall short.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So there.
So that's that news for the week.
Cool.
Getting a little bit into our tech.
Well, I think really, to be honest, I was looking at the show notes before.
Yes.
And I really want to play the cord cutting segment. Oops. Yes, it's time for our cord cutting segment because we've got a few different stories that involve TV tech and but they really do involve the cord cutters out there. So if you're really interested in cord cutting, listen up because we got a few stories for you this week that are really pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was actually hard to figure out where to put these because the line is so blurred between the two, tech and cord cutting, and so it's both.
Indeed. Indeed.
This one was actually shared with me by you, Pat. A letter from Aereo went out to its customers. Aereo is the antenna service, cloud-based antenna service that has been making news all over the country for being able to rebroadcast cable and not even cable, but more network broadcasting to people who purchase or rent the antenna. And it is currently going to in front of the Supreme Court for ruling against whether this is legal or not.
Right. In just a few weeks, we should be able to see Aereo shut down completely because they are rebroadcasting stuff from the networks.
You think that's going to go? You think it's going to be done?
I really think it's going to be done.
Well,
and I'm not saying that in a good way. I really wish them the best, and if it turns out that they can do it, that's awesome.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm not going to hold out hope for this because from my perspective, if they are taking a TV signal and rebroadcasting it for the internet, they are rebroadcasting it and therefore should be shut down.
Or have some kind of regulation that goes around them too.
Something. I mean, they need to either work out a deal with the broadcasters or they need to shut down. Pay for it or leave. You cannot get that. You cannot get that for free and then charge people for it.
No, and that's the thing that Aereo is very confident that they're going to win this ruling. First of all,
at least on paper they are, because they sent this fine letter that is like an entire page long, not just a little sentence, not just a little blurb, not like they were saying, oh well, you know what, PR company. Just go light on the wording because I know that we pay per word for you guys, so don't do that because I'm not sure if we're going to be around or not. No, they're actually putting themselves behind this, and they're saying no, give us a full page.
Oh yeah, they went to town. They went to town, and so I mean this is a great sentence from a couple sentences from it. We have every confidence that the court will validate and preserve a consumer's right to access local over-the-air television using an individual antenna, make a personal recording with a DVR, and watch that recording on a device of their choice. We think you should be able to decide whether you use home equipment or whether you take advantage of the ease, convenience, and lower cost of cloud-based equipment and storage.
They'll say that right up until April 23rd when they have to shut down and say, oh no, I guess that really isn't right because we didn't pay for it.
Right. So they're riding the line again with if you go out and you go to Best Buy or you go to Radio Shack and you buy an antenna that you stick on your roof and you go ahead and grab the broadcast network, you paid one time for that antenna and then you get to have that service.
Yeah.
So somebody made money off of that.
If you're a content creator and you do that, that's okay. As long as you're creating the content and you're trying to distribute it through the internet, that's fine. But as soon as you're not a content creator, then you have to pay for the content.
See, and I think I agree with you on that front because as a content creator, both of us we want things that we produce and create to be consumed through the proper channels. But it is such a fine line with this Aereo argument because they're basically saying we're giving you broadcast network people an opportunity for more people to see your products in more opportunities than just on their television.
Which is fine. Which is totally fine. I get it. But you gotta pay.
But they do. Well, we do. As a consumer,
we do.
We pay Aereo, but Aereo is not paying.
They pay for the antenna. That's not this.
Right.
It's not the same thing.
No, I gotcha. I know it's like I understand both sides of the argument, but as a consumer, I do not want to see this kind of technology go by the wayside.
No, and they call themselves the Napster of TV. Oh, essentially. Yeah. I mean, this is what they have said, or at least what has been said about them. I mean, I'm trying to remember because we've been reporting on this for quite some time.
Well, I would say we were talking about Napster of TV being more of the popcorn time story we did last week, where you're
I think that even these guys were saying that they were the Napster of TV, essentially, or that they were as important to TV as Napster was to music.
Okay.
Remember how it turned out for Napster. This is what I'm saying.
Well,
be hopeful, but have a backup is what I'm saying.
I know. I know, but I agree. I mean, I think that there are a lot of people out there who fell in love with this service. So interestingly enough, as I found in the news today, in the similar context, Comcast is going ahead and making their streaming services through Xfinity TV available from your DVR on the go with your mobile device.
Yeah.
Paid service,
right,
allowing you to get your DVR. Let me tell you something, Pat. There have been so many times that I wish that I could grab something from my DVR and watch it on my iPad if I'm on the road. So many times.
I know. And so they're going to be doing live streaming as well, right?
Yes.
So they're going to be doing live streaming plus DVR streaming, or where you can download from your DVR settings essentially.
Yeah,
and watch it on
5 devices can be streaming simultaneously in one home.
And you can do it online or offline for that DVR stuff. You can watch that stuff offline, so you can download it onto your iPad or something like that, and then take it with you on a trip.
Wouldn't that be cool?
And watch it there. And this is the way to do it, really. I mean, Comcast does it right? Because, I mean, they have all the systems already in place. They're already working with all these different networks. They're already paying all of these different networks to be on cable.
Yep. And all of a sudden, you go into something like the big Comcast that is able to accomplish this and make the consumer happy. And then maybe they're not going to be so keen on loosening those cords.
Right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't have Comcast. You do.
Yeah. Well, I have their internet.
You have their internet, but you don't have their cable.
No. But however, this could turn the tide here.
This is big news, and it just came out today or yesterday. And it's just starting to grow. It's an application that you can download. It's available in Greater Philadelphia, New Jersey, and Northern Delaware, and soon to be available in additional markets throughout the year. So if you're not in those areas, don't worry. They're going to be rolling that out to you as well. You just need to download the Xfinity TV app from an app store at no additional charge. Sign in with your Xfinity TV credentials or through the Xfinity TV website.
It's brilliant, and we've been talking about it for a few months, I think. Anyway, where these cable companies and the TV providers really need to step up and give us an online option. And now we have one. We have a great app that will be able to stream TV and be able to watch stuff from your DVR. And that is really, really nice. I mean, that's incredible.
I know.
I'm when I switch to my next home,
yes,
which will hopefully be soon.
Yes.
So then I can watch Game of Thrones.
Please.
But then I can also switch to just Comcast and then just watch everything on the app. And then, maybe just put it to the Apple TV, which is hooked up to my regular TV. So then I can just watch TV and not actually have, I don't know. I mean, so many different opportunities here for cool stuff to happen.
Agreed. I would absolutely love the opportunity to have my DVR on a mobile device. That is the one thing that I miss so much about not doing that.
Right.
It'd be so cool. So
right.
So yeah. So that's the two interesting stories that kind of jump off of each other. Another one of the cord cutting stories out there that's been a big topic of discussion. Is Amazon. Amazon. Let me just tell you something. When you go through the news and you start looking for these kinds of stories, the days leading up to, I think it was Friday or Saturday of last week, every single news outlet was reporting that Amazon was offering a free streaming TV service coming up, that they were going to be making this big announcement, that it was going to be at their big, there was a big meeting that they were going to be having it.
Would you call that a hoo-ha? A big hoo-ha. They were having a big hoo-ha, powwow. A to-do?
A to-do.
A to-do. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So, because it's a news conference for the company in New York. So that was all the lead up. Okay. And then on March 27th, there is one story out of all the ones that I'm reading, and it says, sorry, TV fans, Amazon is not planning, according to a spokesperson from the company who stated that there is no such plan in the works, despite all the speculation that they're working on plans for a new TV service. What the hell is going on?
And this was at the big hoo-ha?
No, it's before the big hoo-ha.
It's before the big hoo-ha.
So something is really weird because in the beginning of March, there was talk about Amazon offering a streaming TV service, and they came on the record and they said, "We are not doing this. No, we're not." And then the end of the month, the news outlets erupted again. Amazon's doing a free. Somebody's not telling the truth here. Somebody's not, and I'm betting it's Amazon.
Well, they probably won't be telling the full truth. They will be telling a part of it, probably. They'll be as honest as they can about what's actually going on behind the scenes. But journalists, these days, people seem to get on the bandwagon of, well, if I just talk to the people about this and they say that they want this, well, then maybe that will actually be true. So let's go interview a bunch of people and say, would you like Amazon to stream live TV? Or then they go, yes, I would. I really, and they get like 100% of the people, the 3 people that they interviewed, 100%. All said the same thing. And then they'll say, oh, well, then that must mean Amazon might be doing this soon. It doesn't make it true.
Dozens and dozens of news outlets and reputable news outlets were reporting this. I know. It's just weird. And I scoured today, looked all over the place today. Yeah. Nothing. So this news came from that said that they at Amazon had
this is the best April Fool's joke ever.
Seriously.
Right.
Seriously.
Right.
So I'm hoping that we'll have a little bit more news about this because Amazon is, of course, they're behind the times a little bit here for getting into streaming TV. They can do it, but there's something brewing, and I don't know what it is, but there's rumors of flying.
Something's brewing over at Amazon, and it stinks.
Yeah. It's true.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
So keep your ear to the ground. We'll do the same. We'll let you know what we hear.
Right.
But you have something for us in terms of a kind of an app review.
Yes, it's an app review of sorts, and this is something that I brought up a couple of weeks ago, and this was about HitBliss. HitBliss, HitBliss.com. .com, and it's kind of a new way to watch TV, and I tried it out, and yeah.
Well, explain what you saw, because this is a new concept.
Yeah, so HitBliss is essentially this thing that you put on your computer. It's not for I guess they may have an iPad thing. I didn't really check it out because I wanted to check out the service, the main part of the service. And the main part of the service was you go to the website, it says, okay, download this application to your computer. And I have a Macintosh that I tried it out on. I also have a PC that I did not try it out on because I thought that the Macintosh would be fine enough. So I downloaded the thing. I put it, I brought it up into the system, and everything worked very, very smoothly. And the reason that this is a new way to watch TV is that they ask you to earn before you actually watch TV. Mm-hmm. And by this, I'm talking about advertising. So the way that they do this is that you can earn a cash balance with HitBliss by watching a bunch of ads, and it will ask you if you are there or not. Okay? So every time that you say you're there, you get certain number of points, and after you collect certain number of points, and for each time you watch an ad, you also get some kind of monetary gain in your account. And I think it's about 25 cents per ad. There are different ways that you can earn, and I'll get to that in just a second. But so you watch ads, you get a cash equivalent of what that would be, and then you can spend that in their store. And their store is for the different shows. And this is how I watch Caprica, by the way.
Okay.
So I watched the part 1 of the pilot for Caprica by doing this. And I watched 8 ads. I think there were a little bit more, but I was experimenting.
Mm-hmm.
And was able to watch it. So it was like $1.99 for 1 episode. And that was the equivalent. It was about 8 ads for a couple bucks. And that was good. The TV shows, generally speaking, are $1.99. The movies are $2.99 to $3.99. So you will need to watch that amount of advertising before you can actually jump into a movie if you're interested.
Okay.
Now we get into kind of the tricky part. Because when we're talking about watching advertising, they really want to know that you are there.
Right.
And so they have a couple of different things that they kind of rely on, I guess, to try to make sure that you're there. Number one, when you're watching the ads, a little thing will come up where you need to press this button on the application to make sure that you are there. It'll give you like a little countdown timer and everything like that. If you time out, oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
That means you have to watch more ads.
Because you're not getting credit for it.
Right. You're not getting credit for it. And they also have this thing called a trust level. Trust level. They need to trust you. They need to trust you. This is going to come back later.
Yeah.
So you start out trust level 1. We don't trust you much at all. This is trust level 1. And so over time, over a couple of commercials or whatever, you can build up your trust level, and you can move to trust level 2, where they will ask you to push the little button to know that you're there a little less often. That's what you get. You get a little bit more trust with them. And it also enables faster earning the higher the trust level. And if you increase trust by really paying attention to the commercials, as soon as that button comes up, if you're like immediately on that button and you press it, you get more points.
Interesting. It's like a game.
Not really. It's not if it's a game, it's not a fun game. It's an annoying game that happens with commercials. I'm not a big fan of commercials.
Yeah.
And I'm also not a big fan of letting companies know what's going on with me. Personally, I'm kind of, it's like I'm very open to my friends, but to marketers, I'm a little bit more closed off. By a little bit more, I mean, I try to shut myself off completely from them.
Yes.
I mean, I understand it happens, but whatever. You can earn faster. You can earn more money for your credit. You can earn trust a little bit more as well if you open up to these marketers. And the first way to do that, they have a couple of different levels. So the first level is you're not going to share any information with me. We're just going to kind of play these ads for you, and you can press the little pellet button, and then you get your fake cash for these shows. Okay. And then the next level, the medium level, is where they will use your web search, your web history, and your current location to better target the ads to you.
Okay.
And then you can earn faster.
Okay.
And then the next level after that is age, gender, income, education, and children's age. If you allow them all those things, then you can earn at the maximum level. And, before you know it, you'll be watching that movie or that TV show.
Right.
And it, considering we are on that TV show, it really should be that TV show. I'm not comfortable with this.
Well, as soon as you started talking about getting better trust levels is when it all of a sudden started to sound very icky.
It kind of sounds a little bit Big Brother-ish.
Yep.
Right? And especially when they want to go through your web search and your web history current location, I don't care. I mean, that's fine. But web search and web history. Listen, I search a lot of different crazy crap for all the different shows that I do.
Yes, you do.
I don't know what's going to come up. I don't even know what's in my web search. I have no idea. I would be very surprised to see what they came up with for me.
And to advertise to you on that vein.
And yet at the same time, I don't want to give them that information. Because then they'll judge me silently and say, oh, well, you were searching about hermaphroditic penguins. I don't know. I don't know. And then
how do you exactly market to somebody?
Right. I'm not saying that I've actually searched this. I'm just saying that this is maybe a possibility. I have no idea. So it's just kind of weird. I'm like, I don't want you going through my crap. I don't want you going through my online history. I don't want you doing that.
So this is the price that you pay for not paying money to see this streaming. You pay with your time and your personal information.
Yes. And if you don't want to pay with your personal information, you pay with more time.
Yes.
And I was fine with paying with more time.
Yes.
Because I did not want to do that. Okay,
well,
so
they're banking on you being impatient and being like, oh, fine, just take my information so I can watch this.
And I will not do that. I don't think ever. Not ever. Not for a marketer, man.
No.
For my best friend, absolutely. You can have at whatever you want to have at, but a marketer, no. This is not happening. Okay, so let's get on to the content, right? Okay. So what do they have? What do they have for you? They have several different TV series and movies that they have licensed somehow. And they are, for the most part, they're pretty new-ish. And they're not necessarily the best content ever, but they're good content. But they also have a deal now with Amazon.com.
Yes, they do.
They have a deal with Amazon Prime, and that is the majority of their content is all Amazon Prime stuff. So when you go to redeem your little credits, it will say, okay, well, here we go. So we have your credits here, and you can just go ahead and buy them. And if you buy them from HitBliss directly, if it's one of their licensed product, they'll just say, oh, okay, great. No big deal. But they don't have a lot of that. Right now, they just mostly Amazon stuff. So they ask for your credit card. They do. They ask for your credit card because that's what Amazon has said. But there's a caveat because they actually do step up here a little bit. Because HitBliss says, you know what? If you don't want to use your credit card, you can use ours. Because that's the kind of relationship we have. You can use our credit card because you're not really paying anything.
Yeah, well, okay. So how do they do that necessarily?
Well, you just select use your credit card, and then they say, oh, okay. And then then they'll say, okay, you owe $0. You have the credit, so you're good for it. So we'll buy this. So we'll buy this for you.
Nice. Okay.
So it actually worked out pretty well. So you can actually go through and you can watch all this stuff. But at the same time, I have Amazon Prime.
Right.
I don't need this.
No.
This is not for me. This is not for me.
No, this is an option if you don't have a paid streaming service and you want to see some of this content.
Right. And they also do have a subscription to Pandora that you can get. Pandora is $3.99 a month, so you can watch ads and subscribe to Pandora and keep up on your monthly stuff for Pandora stuff, which is great. And so this is an option, everybody. Mm-hmm. This is an option if you don't want to pay for Amazon Prime, if you don't want to pay for Pandora. You can do that through HitBliss. Would I recommend it? No.
Yeah.
No, it's too much.
It's a little too invasive for comfort level for a lot of people. Yeah, and me too. I wouldn't want to do that.
Right. So it's a little difficult. It's not bad. It's just difficult, and I would rather pay for it and just say, you know what, I'm going to give my the company that actually provides this stuff, I'm going to give them the money and not you. I'm not going to give you my time or my personal information. There's no way I'm going to give you my personal information.
Now,
There's
it
no
doesn't
way.
sound all bad. You can still go through and you can earn credits with just watching ads.
Right. You can totally do that. This is up to you. For me, however, I would just much rather just kind of get it over with and pay for it.
Yeah,
So,
because we're impatient and that's not what they want.
right.
They're trying to find the most patient people
Right.
who are trying to save a couple bucks.
Not a bad experience overall, though. I mean, the app is very nice. The application is very nice. It works well with my Mac. There were no problems with watching the show at all or anything like that. But at the same time, I already have Amazon Prime, so
Yeah.
There's no way that I need this.
Well, for you guys out there, this could be an option for you if you
Right.
don't have that service and are looking for something alternative.
And if you guys have an app that you want me to review, just let me know about it. You can email thattvshow@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us on Twitter. You can get a hold of me personally on Twitter, and all the other different places that you can get a hold of me at. So please let us know. But for now, we got to go headlong into the poop. There we go. All right. So what's in the poop this week, Jules?
Oh, this one I found literally Wednesday this week, last week, like day after we did the last episode.
Yeah.
It was so good I had to save it for then. There is a new Fox competition reality show out there. And you know how well Fox does with competition reality shows, like maybe Joe Millionaire is one that comes to mind.
Yeah, that one seemed to kind of land with a big thud.
Yeah, Joe Millionaire was a guy who, they tried to date two women, and turns out he was just some kind of, what was he, a construction worker or something like that? He was
Some kind
wasn't
of
a billionaire at
regular
all.
schmo.
Regular schmo. Well, the same guy who is responsible for Joe Millionaire is at it again with a new show called I Wanna Marry Harry. And Harry is in quotation marks. What they have done is they have found a man who looks exactly like Britain's Prince William.
I'm just gonna.
Sorry,
I'm
Prince
just gonna.
Harry. Prince
Yeah,
William.
Prince Harry. Prince Harry. William's already married.
He's already married, but
Yeah,
Prince Harry is not.
He's done.
This guy, I swear to you, is like crazy, crazy close.
Yeah, no,
to
he
him.
is. I saw the pictures.
Oh my gosh. And so the women don't know that this is not Prince Harry.
I'm just.
So they are trying to date him. And he is just an English guy with an accent. He's got the accent, but he's
Right.
given a makeover to look like a royal. And yeah.
I'm just gonna sigh deeply into the microphone for the next couple of minutes, and that's about it. Because that's all I could do here.
I'm so saddened by this because all it is, this is a show where they're duping women into thinking that they're marrying a prince. Why? Why do people do this?
I don't.
And
know.
then, of course, we make fun of them. Oh, you don't know it's not the prince. Blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Would he be on a reality show to marry him off? It's the Prince of England.
Yeah.
He's just standing there. You really are just sitting there.
I
shaking your
can't
head.
do anything else. I can't do anything else. This is the worst. This is like last summer where we were talking about top 10,
Yes.
which was that crazy stupid dating game or whatever the hell it was. I can't remember. It was like one of the worst shows ever that I've ever seen in my life. Ever. This just sounds like that show minus a million. You know what I'm talking about? It's like you take the worst show that you could possibly make, and then let's just make total garbage. Let's just do this and just see what happens. And it's only out to get the drama that unfolds when people either fight for him or find out that he's a fake.
I know. And they're
It's-
very proud of this idea.
It's not about anything real, and this is where the reality show, and of course they're probably not calling it a reality show. They're probably calling it, oh no, this is unscripted programming. Well, it's kind of scripted. It's produced, and I get furious about these kinds of shows.
I know. And so you can avoid this like the plague on Fox, premiering Tuesday, May 27th. You can avoid it like the plague, but it's there. I'm sorry. I know, but it's poop. You have to give it, like, I have to give you the poopiest of those stuff.
I get it. And I want everybody to kind of, be able to react to it as well. I think that it's important to get out there that garbage is being made, and we can actually act on this stuff if we want to. If we want to, we can actually act on this stuff and talk to Fox directly. And I should try to get a campaign against them right now.
You want to do that? We can.
I don't know if it's going to do any good, but jeez, I feel like I have to do something because this is absolutely worthless.
I know.
It's so horrible. So horrible.
Well, it's worthy of the title.
I need to wash the taste out of my mouth for this. So we got to go to the watch list. Let's do it. The watch list. Take me away, watch list. Take me away. This is a part of the show where we take a look at shows and we go all the way back to one. We all go season 1, episode 1 of this particular show. It's usually a series that we've never seen before. Actually, it's always been series that we've never seen before.
Yes.
And what do we have this time around, Jules?
We are watching Justified, first season on Amazon Prime. Yep. And this time around, we watched episodes 3, 4, and 5. This is a 21st century Wild West style show with a U.S. Marshal named Raylan Givens, who is sent back home to his hometown of Harlan, Kentucky. Yeah. And he is not there by choice, but he is now kind of resolving his life, the life that he left behind, because he did not live a very pleasant one.
It's because he killed a guy in Miami, but you know what, Jules?
What?
It was justified.
Did you wind up saying that all week? Was that like the thing where you're just like, you know what, I did this, but it was
right.
Justified.
Anytime the wife had a question about anything, I said justified.
Okay, so I'm hoping that we're gonna be justified in watching this show, and the reason that I say that is because I'm finding it very difficult to get hooked in.
Why are you finding it difficult to get hooked in?
Well, the first 3 episodes total. After the 3rd episode, I turned to my husband and I said, I want to know when it's going to get better. Because this show gets so many people just absolutely raving about it. Raving about it. And I did not see it.
So why do you think it was not good?
So when you got the first 3 episodes, it was pretty much the same stereotypical stuff. You've got dumb criminals doing dumb things, and a U.S. Marshal who shoots every living person around him. Everybody gets shot by this guy.
Yep.
And it's crazy to me that this keeps happening, but it was like every single time. It was like he was somebody's getting shot, and then somebody does something stupid. And so it wasn't like there wasn't any character study about anything except the fact that this guy likes to shoot people.
Well, there was a little bit more to that.
Yep. And so I got to that part and I was like, oh, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
And then we watched episodes 4 and 5, and I started to see why this show is so beloved. Because then they started to actually study Raylan himself and his relationships with the people around him.
Sure.
So that's what I started to see. But
so
that's my thing.
We got to see his dad and his stepmom and his ex-wife and his new girlfriend that he's not supposed to be actually with, but he doesn't care too much.
No, he does care, but he's not caring.
Yeah, he does, but he doesn't.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool actually. The episode where we saw his dad and his stepmom. That was pretty cool. I thought that was really interesting.
Well,
about how
was good.
About how he really doesn't care for his father, but his stepmom he actually does care about quite a bit because she sheltered him when his dad got rough or whatever when he was a kid. So all of that stuff is very important, and we're see now when you tweeted you were on the Twitter this week.
I was. Yep.
And what did you say? You said something about it being slow, right?
Well, because of my schedule, I had to watch all 3 episodes of this round in one evening, which was on Sunday night.
Mm-hmm.
So on Monday morning, I tweeted, do you feel, if you've seen Justified, do you feel that it started out slow? It took a while to get going in the beginning.
And my response was that this show is set in Kentucky.
Yes.
Kentucky is not known for fast.
No.
There's nothing in Kentucky that is fast. Even the bourbon runs slow.
Yes.
And then I said, my wife would even say that Timothy Oliphant's eyes smolder.
Slowly.
Means, yes, very slowly, which is what smoldering means, right?
Yep.
Burns slowly. So,
that's right.
So I think that all that stuff is true. Everything is very slow.
Yes, exactly.
And that's okay because I think the setting is slow.
Well, you're right that the environment itself and the surrounding areas are slow, but I wanted to know more about the people, and it wasn't giving me anything until we got to like episode 4.
And should we go back to the breakdown for episodes for first season stuff? Because the first 2 episodes are like your pilot, right? Essentially. Mm-hmm. Then you have your next few episodes, which are the setup.
Right.
And then at some point, and we may already be there with this series, I don't know, because it was getting pretty good. Mm-hmm. You have a break where you go, okay, now we're gonna see the character with all of his with his surroundings, and then we're gonna break him of that right around, what did I say, like episode 8?
Yep.
Somewhere around there. And this is how many shows are in this series? Or in
I think
this season?
13 in this season.
Okay. So probably around 7 or 8, we'll see another switch happening. And then we'll see how he reacts to that switch.
Right.
And that is where the hooks come out. That is going to be the good stuff, right?
I think so too. And I guess I was just disappointed. I wanted more earlier on for this show. And now I found that I was like not dreading to have to watch another episode after we got to episode 5. And
Slow your roll, Veruca Salt. Slow your roll.
Really? You just told me to slow my roll.
And then I called you Veruca Salt.
Yeah, seriously. I want it now.
I mix the old with the new. That's what I do.
I know. But it is, I can see the potential now. I see where they're building the character complexity of Raylan and his father, what he has been brought up from and how he has worked to try to be everything against that. It's compelling and you can see it.
Yeah.
But I kind of got tired of the same cliche of like, this is a U.S. Marshal that is going to be dressed like a cowboy and everybody's going to make fun of the fact that he's a cowboy, even though he's in Kentucky. Nobody seems to understand that this is a thing. But
the thing that I really like about Raylan, by the way, is that he doesn't talk a lot.
No, he's very subtle.
The thing that I really like about him is that he does not talk a lot, and when he does, it usually is not to confront somebody. It's usually to agree with them, no matter what they might be saying. If they say something really weird and wrong, he'll say, well, some might say that. Or, if it's, he's always just kind of mysterious and very kind of, I don't know. He kind of weaves his way around confrontation until he can't weave anymore. And then he shoots people in the face.
Oh, and before that, he's staring down the barrel of a gun, usually.
Yeah, of course. And then he says, you don't want to do that. Think about it. I'm a U.S. Marshal. I don't come here alone. I'm not here alone.
Exactly.
There are other people, so why don't you just hand over the gun? And then maybe your kids will actually have one parent that. Oh, sorry, I'm giving away plot lines. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. But it's very cool. And you are very different from my wife because my wife loves this show.
Does she?
Like right away. But I think she loves Tim.
Right.
You know, just Timothy Olyphant is very cool. He's a very mysterious guy, and she was talking about it, and she was saying, well, you know, he's got that mischievous smile.
Yeah, he does.
He's got that mischievous kind of this little, hey, I'm gonna mess with you, but he's also got the mystery behind him.
Yeah,
as well.
You don't know what's going on behind those eyes.
And she said, the biggest thing though is the mischievous smile. Because, and I know that because that's why I felt for you when she was talking to me. And I said, well, yeah, that's probably true. That's probably true. I do have that little smile from time to time.
Yep, you do.
Just messing with you. All right. So how many shows do you want to do for next week? We've got 13 total. We're to 5 now. So can we do... You want to shoot for 4?
Manage 4 this week. I think I can manage that.
Let's try it.
Okay.
Let's try it and see what happens. You guys can join us as well. No quiz this week.
No.
Because I've been busy with the house stuff. It's what happens.
I know, but at least, you know, we got to do this show tonight, which is a good thing. So I'm happy.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I've got photos tomorrow.
Oh, yay.
Got a lot of work to do before the photos tomorrow. So I better get out of here.
You better start working.
Better 10:30. All right. Well, it's one hell of a show.
It is.
It's a roller coaster of a show tonight. It's crazy. And if you guys want to talk to us about anything that we've talked about or anything that you want to talk about, you can do that in so many different ways. You can email us, thattvshow@gmail.com. You can get a hold of us on Twitter @thattvshow, or even individually. Isn't that right, Jules?
That is right. You can find Pat on Twitter @PatCrane with a K. And you can find me, Jules, at JulesRPG.
That's right. We also have forums. We have all sorts of different stuff, and it's all over at our website, thattvshow.net. .net. There we go. And we also have all of our friends over at the All-Star Network over at signalsmedia.com. The Signals Media All-Star Network. Doing shows that are fun for you to stick in your ears. I don't know. I made that up on the spot. That was not very good. I apologize. All right. Jules, thank you.
And thank you, Pat. Have a great week, and we'll see you guys next week.
Sounds good. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next week, like she said, Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Central, uploaded by Wednesday at some point. For Jules Scott, my name is Pat Crane. We'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. This podcast is a part of the Signals Media All-Star Network. For more information on this and other fine shows, go to signalsmedia.com. It's okay to stick our stuff in your ears. Really?